Welcome, everyone, to the third episode of the Rich Psychic Goddess podcast. Today, we have an amazing guest, Jessica Kam. She is an incredible energy sorceress. She has done some work with me over the last 3 months, and she really just wanted to come on and share many different facets of developing military grade and beyond psychic abilities in a very short time. And we're here to smash out a lot of paradigms that people have around that as well, so that people can open themselves up to a more fast-paced unfoldment of their true power, and in that have more fast-paced manifestations unlock, have doorways open, have inspirations and ideas drop in and download more regularly. So this is going to be a really beautiful, all-encompassing chat today that's going to open you up to more knowledge and inspiration and perception as to how you can bring more of this psychic magic into your own life. So thanks for being here, Jess. Let's just get you to have a little bit of an introduction for yourself.
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Ari, for inviting me. I'm so excited to share more about myself and my journey that's been really fast, way faster than I expected. And I never thought I would be here. So a little bit more about me. I am an energy sorceress, psychic trailblazer, whatever you call me. I am here to help people reconnect with the inner magic that they have inside of them that allows them to heal themselves and others, specializing in helping people become naturally free of pain. So that's what I work on. And yeah, I'm just super excited for today's topic.
So this is pretty incredible because a couple of months ago, you would have called yourself a skeptic of all of this stuff.
Yes,
right?
Pretty skeptical, but like enough to like tiptoe into this area.
Yeah, so you felt a pull towards it, even though there was a massive skeptic part in yourself.
Yes, exactly.
And now you've come into psychic development and just taken it by the reins and just smashed it, like beyond what people could comprehend, right? So
yes.
Let's just talk about that, because a lot of people have a lot of fear around really fast-paced psychic development. They think that if they unlock all these abilities right away, they're going to lose control of reality. They're not going to be able to differentiate reality from fantasy, even though there is no such thing as fantasy, and have blurred lines between this world and the next, and ultimately end up in psychiatric care. Like, that is, for most of my clients, a massive fear for them. So can you just talk us through how that didn't occur for you, and through releasing that fear, how the psychic development just totally took off for you in that retrospect?
For sure. So the way that I came into it was just coming from a background where I didn't believe in anything spiritual, was very much into the sciences and technology, was actually into computer programming before. And just like growing up, I just knew that there was something more that I was missing out on. I just didn't know what exactly it was. The world just felt a little bit flat. And then as I started on my self-development journey, I started opening up to these sorts of things, self-improvement. I started finding people that were spiritual, and then people who were intuitive, and then eventually people who were full-blown psychic. And then just like coming in from a very grounded perspective, I would say already kind of has built-in brakes for how fast you can go. And me, I like to go really fast. And even though I wanted to go really fast, like, I still noticed that there were like still like kind of like safety brakes, like things to make sure that I wouldn't go insane during the process of opening up too fast. And whenever I would open up in a certain way, it would happen slowly. For instance, when seeing auras, the very first time, I didn't even see any colors. I actually had trouble seeing the very first time, but eventually I got to see like a little white outline around people. And then eventually, as I started like putting my focus there and setting the intention that I wanted to focus on seeing people's auras, then I actually started seeing colors of not only people, but other objects and those sorts of things as well. So yeah, there's definitely safety controls around this entire process that your spirit guides and team will make sure so that you're pretty grounded during this entire thing, and you open up at the pace that you're meant to open up.
Yeah. And I really feel the recipe for what enabled you to develop so quickly is because you had that passionate curiosity and you just wanted more. You like wanted a bigger reality. You wanted a bigger perception of what's truly out there and available for you. And you just released the fear. Every time the fear came up, you were like, let's smash that out. And you smashed it out. And then that enabled you to experience that next level of that ability. Right? So
Yes.
Some things happened really quickly for you, especially astral projection, which is something that can take people many, many, many years to develop. And you literally started doing it pretty much right away. So how was your first experience of that? Because I know you had an absolutely incredible experience of going out of your body and being taken into a spaceship. So
yes,
can you tell us that story? Because that's super juicy.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so even before I met you, I definitely wanted to astral project. I mean, I looked online. There were a whole bunch of different techniques that people said that could take months or however long it takes. Like the rope one, especially like pulling, just like imagining a rope and like pulling yourself out of your own body with it. But yeah, just after our work together and just like smashing out the beliefs of that just came up for me in terms of like permanently leaving my body and related beliefs like that, then I was able to let go more and more. And pretty soon after that, like the most vivid experience that I remember, is the one that you mentioned, and that is okay. So like in the beginning, I would so there's different levels, right? So in the beginning, I would switch my perspective a lot between like myself and then myself looking at myself sleeping on the bed, that sort of a thing. But then as I got used to it, then I could focus most of my attention and awareness on my astral body that was outside of myself. And like pretty soon after that, like I had an experience where I set the intention that I wanted to meet my star family representative. He said that I could call him Avalon, and he's a blue Arcturian with 3 fingers and, like the big black eyes, that sort of a thing. And so I had different experiences. I mean, I saw him at like 5% opacity in my room. And then I believe it was pretty soon after that when I wanted to astral project, then I met him. Then I just saw him in my room, and like I remember putting both of my hands up to his, and it was just like such a powerful, like paradigm shattering experience for me. And yeah, just like the feelings from that were so immense and loving, like beyond anything that I've experienced up until that point. And then after that, he said that there were a couple things that he wanted to show me. So then I said, okay, yeah, I'm totally open to it.
Let's go in the spaceship.
So this was in my room. And then, so after he got my permission, then we went on to his, the spaceship, the Arcturian spaceship. And to me, it looked like kind of like a bunch of like pancakes, like metallic, like pancakes stacked on top of each other. And when I went onto the spaceship, that was when, I got to meet other Arcturians that were on the craft. And then I got to see like kind of like the interfaces that they used. There was like also like this kind of like machine in the corner where they could, I think like disassemble stuff and like just break stuff down that they didn't need anymore. And then he brought me to it looked like a kind of like a command room where there was just like holograms of the earth. And he just told me about how like a lot of the Arcturians are here around the earth, protecting the earth, helping people heal. And that like I have a big role as a healer. And at that time I was thinking like, what? I'm a healer? since when? So yeah. And then I realized that up until that point, there were a couple of signs before that if I paid attention to more carefully, then I would have recognized them. And definitely they were pointing me in this path of being a healer. And yeah, he just showed me, because I asked him, okay, so I'm a healer, so like, you know, how does it work? Like, what do I even do? I don't even know what to do. And then he showed me that I would eventually get to the point where I would have a hologram of whoever I was working on. And just whenever that came up, then I would see like a bunch of different information on them. I would see like kind of like dense areas and blockages and other places that would be good to work on for that person. And yeah, that calling upon him and like 11 other of his Arcturian friends, that they would just come and they would like help me as well, so I'm not alone. So like when that hologram comes up, then I can like move my hand across it, do other things, and they will also be around me, surrounding me, and also working on it at the same time. It's definitely evolved since then, but that was a really powerful experience.
Yeah, and he said something. I remember you coming back and saying, he told me that I'm to build a world-changing $1 trillion empire with this new technology that they're going to continue to give me. So what was that feeling like to be 22 years old, right? And be told
Yes.
that you're here to build a $1 trillion healing empire to transform this planet that an alien is going to give you all the instructions and blueprints for. What was that like?
That was pretty insane. I was thinking, did I get that wrong? Like, is it with a T? Is it with a B? Is it with an M? Like, is this for real? Did I screw up the signal somehow and just change it? But yeah, so like initially I was definitely like very like, wow, I've never like even heard like a number that big before. There's not even like I'm pretty sure there's trillionaires in the world, but definitely most people just talk about millionaires and billionaires. So that was definitely next level. And I had no idea like what the heck would really encompass and like what the heck I would even do to get to that point and that sort of thing. So I was definitely, I definitely did pull back a little bit the first time I heard it. But as time went on and I was like, okay, no. I'm going to open up to it because I know that I'm meant to open up to it and that just things will just start falling into place when I open up to it. And it did. So like as soon as I started opening up to it, they started showing me like glimpses of the future and like the people I helped and how I helped them, what industry, like kind of like a large bird's eye view of the entire process, like starting with like the like health and wellness industry. So definitely healing, and then branching out into other industries like beauty, and then like wearables, and then yeah, just over the last
wearable
years,
technology.
Yes, physical wearable technology, and yeah, different pieces have started coming in over time as well. Because like yeah, they know that if they gave me all that information all at once, I would freak out.
It was amazing to see that the more you relaxed and came to acceptance with the idea, the more obviously your crown chakra was open to receive the information. Whereas if you were to go, oh my God, trillionaire, like that's horrible and scary, and how the heck am I going to do that? I don't know how to do that. You wouldn't be getting the information. And I remember saying like at first being scared about the trillionaire idea, and then you released that and you came to terms with it, and then it dropped in that you were here to revolutionize the medical industry with more bringing spirituality into technology and having that as a foundational part of hospitals and whatnot. And I was just like, that's freaking amazing and insane at the same time, but insanely good, right?
Yes, insanely good.
We all know that industry needs a renovation, like a complete overhaul, right? So
definitely.
That was just absolutely incredible to see that the more you came to acceptance of an idea, the more your star family could put the ideas and technologies and information into your conscious awareness for you to utilize, right? And that's a massive thing that humanity has forgotten, is that we walk around closed over and hunched over all the time, absorbed in our drama and our victimhood. And in that, we're actually not giving permission to our guides to help us. We're blocking them off. And so we feel lonely and we feel a victim and we feel like it's all too hard and we feel like we've got the weight of the world on our shoulders. And how the heck am I going to be a part of this revolution and change this planet when my guides don't even, ensure that I have enough money? And it's like, Like the more you relax and allow them to come in and ask them to come in and give them permission to come in and be open to new things and be open to change, the more things are going to change. And that means that the money thing is going to start being met. They want your money needs to be met so that you can focus on the higher frequency stuff, right? They don't want us wallowing around trying to pay our bills because that's keeping us in the enslavement system, right? So
yes, for sure.
This psychic expansion process really enables us to go through a process of transhumanism, which is moving beyond the human condition and into our creative genius selves that have enough money always to last lifetimes, right? And that means that we can just focus on our genius and our passions and deliver that to the planet, because our consciousness allows for us to do that. And that's really been beautiful to see that process unfold for you. And you're still in the early stages of your business because this has all happened so quickly.
Yes,
but
sure.
You're already really clear on how to work with clients. You've got high-end packages, 100K, 30, 50, 100K packages, you know, like that's crazy. Most people couldn't imagine starting a business and pretty much right away have that confidence in what you're doing to be working at that level. And that's just been absolutely incredible to see you just go, you know what, these are the people I need to work with to make huge change on this planet. Let's put it out there. I don't have to start from the bottom up. We're not in that paradigm anymore, right? We just go straight for what we want.
Yes,
and
that's right.
That's been, it's straight for what we want and straight for what we're here for at the same time.
Yes.
And
we're to make a big impact. So taking all the steps necessary in whatever ways that we get pulled to.
Yeah, beautiful. And so what else has unfolded for you psychically? I know that you've had a couple of really positive remote viewing experiences where you've had accurate remote viewings. What was that like to experience that?
Yes. So I remember that we were playing a remote viewing game, both of us, you and I, Ari, and like in the beginning, it was just like, oh, I want to get this right. Because, like high achiever, like, good student wants to get it right, like on the first try, because if you don't, then it's kind of like, oh, well, you failed, that sort of thing. But as I just relaxed into it more and just like, let go and was unattached to, getting it right or not, that's when the information actually was able to slip in and not get get like noise added to it by myself. And that was when I was actually able to get the image and get the information of what you drew and get it pretty much 90% correct. So you drew like a flower. So I drew a flower with 6 petals and then 1 stem and 1 leaf. And then I was thinking about, well, I think there's a line on this leaf, but I'm not sure. But, I doubted myself, which I've learned to not do as much, and just sent it to you. And then you said like, yeah, that's right. I did draw a flower with 6 petals and 1 stem and 1 leaf. And I did have a leaf in the middle. And then there was also a sun on the side. But that was amazing. Cause I thought like I thought like, oh, well, it might take like months to get to like this level, like, or weeks, however long it takes, but it just happened within like a couple of days. I don't even remember how fast it happened.
Yeah, and that was really through, that's what I love about the mindset work of psychic abilities, because it was your mind totally blocking you from getting the image because you were so caught up in making sure that you got it right.
Yes.
That blocked you off from the information. And so as soon as you just had a playful approach to it, it was like, bam, there it is. And so that's why I really find, you can practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. But if you hadn't released those mindset blocks, you would still be practicing and not really getting anywhere because you'd still be like anxious about getting it wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then getting frustrated with yourself and not getting it right, and then digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper into the belief system that you suck at it and it's never going to work for you. So it was really awesome to see you switch timelines from going down this downward spiral of like, I can't do this, I suck, this is shit, to going, it's not the end of the world if I don't ever get it right. I'm just going to give it a go. And boom, there it was. I really want to talk about what you found the difference was between remote viewing and astral projection, because I know we did a lot of work around what level of consciousness you kept in your body and whatnot. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's quite new and pioneering for people. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between remote viewing and astral projection. So can you just give your sort of concept and experience with that?
Yes. Okay. So my sort of experience is that, so for remote viewing, for me, it's more like physically like being here like in my body, and then just kind of getting like informations and intel that just get fed into my mind's eye. But then for astral projection, it's more of an experience where the eternal part of myself, my astral body, light body, whatever you call it, like actually separates, and my consciousness leaves my body to like go around and explore like my room, different things around my room, like float up and like see past my house and all the other houses, go to just like go to different planets, go onto spacecraft and spaceships, go to like the park at night, go to like inner Earth, those sorts of things. So I would say that, like for me, remote viewing is more of like it just feels like I'm in the same place, versus like astral projection feels like me, like I'm in another place, but I can also switch back between like where I am. Like if I'm on a current spaceship, I can switch back between that and feeling like I'm back in my bed.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So I know like we very much developed with astral projection, and this is incredible for people to hear. So that's what I want to talk about, is creating different consciousness levels that you keep in your body. So initially we started with like 20%, it was much higher. It was like 90% consciousness in your body. So a little bit of you would leave, and then working it down to 80%, then 70%, then 60%, all the way down to 10%, where you were still slightly aware of your body. Like you could check back in with it if you wanted to, but a majority of your consciousness was elsewhere, having a separate experience. And so what was your experience of working it that way, where you could slowly but quickly at the same time work up to the confidence and the mind strength and the trust to leave your body like that?
Yes, it's really magical how you can how there's actually ways that you can like step up to it, or step down into it, whatever your perspective is. Instead of like being like completely going from like not astral projecting to like completely like full blown astral projection and getting freaked out along the way. So like having those like set points, or like those save points, it's very nice actually, so that I can like ease into it and like build up, like in the beginning thinking, oh, am I actually doing it or not? And then just changing and tweaking a couple parameters as I feel like it. And then just allowing myself in that way to choose how much I want to explore and explore in that way. And other things that are possible. So like being able to choose like how much of me like is still in my body versus outside of my body is really neat, because in the beginning I had a lot of fears about leaving my body, like, oh, what if I leave it permanently or something like that. So being able to like kind of like partition myself like more and more like outside of my body is very cool.
Yeah. And back to remote viewing, I want to talk about the little bit of eclectic witchcraft that we brought into it, where we actually came across a spirit familiar for you, who you can give remote viewing tasks to. So can you talk about that a little bit? Because that's pretty crazy for most people.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. So for me, so when we were setting up the parameters and containers for remote viewing, what came up for me was that partitioning part of myself into a dog. So it was a Rottweiler. And allowing myself to have remote viewing experiences through the senses of the Rottweiler, which is pretty neat because like Rottweilers, dogs have a different, they see a different spectrum, and they're also four-legged instead of two-legged, and they have like a better sense of hearing and smell as well. So it was a really neat experience to go to the pyramids and like go underneath there and go exploring, and yeah, just from a totally different perspective that was like completely like also paradigm shattering, shattered a lot of paradigms during our time together. Because it was definitely it was definitely a different feeling than being human, but also I still know that I was still me, and like there's like a whole wide range of experiences available to me. So that was awesome.
Yeah. So it was like bilocation, shape shifting shit.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you experienced a dog, like reality through a dog's lenses, like you experienced the heightened senses and a different vision.
Yes, I didn't see colors anymore. It was like more of like a fuzzy black and white, except for like maybe like bright spots here and there.
Yeah, amazing. That's incredible.
Which I did not like purposely think like, oh, I'm gonna like because I totally forgot. I was thinking like, okay, yeah, I'll just put my consciousness into the dog, and then whatever experience I have is whatever I have. And then later, it was only until after we talked about it that I realized like, oh, actually what I was seeing was not actually in color.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that also gives you a little bit of a disguise as well, which is quite interesting. So if you ever want to go somewhere where you don't want to represent your consciousness, you can be in the dog's consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Brilliant. So what else would you like to touch on? What was the development of your developing your healing abilities? So how did that start to unravel through channeling and whatnot?
Yes, for sure. So definitely after the first experience that I had on the Arcturian ship, I was thinking like, oh, okay, well, this is definitely a sign for me to go and revisit, like, because I got access to an energy healing course before that someone gave to me for free in exchange for helping her out. And I honestly just looked at it for information on the chakras, but didn't like actively, I guess, like take it seriously. So I went through all of that again, and then also like, continued to have conversations with my guides and all of that. In the beginning, I wasn't allowing myself to.
You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you just cut out. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so in the beginning, I wasn't allowing myself to always get messages from my guides. But then, like, as I eased into it, then I started receiving messages. But along the way, my guides also, like, just, like, happened to, my guides, like, kind of, like, sent me resources through other people because I wasn't always listening. Like, my friend would say, like, oh, check out this video. Or, like, oh, check out this book. Or, like, oh, check out this guy. And I'm like, what? These are, like, all different people. And they're all sending me, like, related stuff in, like, the same day. Or, like, really, like, within, like a very short time frame. So then when I started going into those and looking into those, then I started expanding myself to what's possible because a lot of other people are already doing it and, testing the boundaries for the possibilities with energy healing. And so when I had that confidence, then I started streaming in a lot of, the more custom stuff for me in terms of like how I work with Arcturians. And then it came to like a bunch of different beings, like the dragons, and then like a whole bunch of other ones also showed up. And then more than just beings now, like things that are typically considered inanimate objects also showed up to me, like my grimoire from the past millennia. So super excited for
tell us about the grimoire. What is a grimoire for people who don't know, and what is it for you?
Yes. So a grimoire is essentially a spell book that witches have of all their different spells and stuff like that they've accumulated over the years, over their lifetimes. The one that came up to me that was flipping its own pages in front of me and opening
your
it.
physical sight clairvoyance.
It was in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in my mind's eye, but there was like a faint bit of it that was also like with my physical eye, so kind of like borderline between the two. But yes, so yeah, the grimoire was just like opening and closing itself and saying how it would love to help me out in my healing sessions. And it said that it was my grimoire of all the lessons that I've learned and all the spells and everything from the past like 1,000 years. And I've also gotten more information now in terms of like how it actually helps in my healing and kind of like glimpses as well as to what exactly it does and how it works with the other beings in my spiritual entourage. So it's pretty amazing.
That is incredible. So can you just access this grimoire just through your conscious effort? So
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever I want to make contact, like for instance, like earlier today, I just wanted to, talk to it a little bit more about like, okay, so can you tell me like a little bit more about what exactly you helped me out with? I actually like, close my eyes, and I've gotten to the point where I can just voice channel now, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. So just, set the intention for who I want to contact and, what I want to know. That sort of a thing, and then just had it speak through me, and then I will listen to the recording afterwards. And it told me how it was going to work together with like how it definitely helps with the healings and works together with my witch self that I also met before in October from like another lifetime, and how like those two as well as like other like a pair of gloves and like a magic wand also showed up as well, like how they all work together to kind of like sprinkle in some extra like healing magic from like all of my past lives, other lives, parallel lives, whatever you call it, into the healing session, and how they're also tied with my $1 trillion empire, and how they're actually going to help me with enchanting items, so like enchanting magical items for the future.
Amazing. Incredible. So what's your message to the skeptics of all this?
Yes. Okay. So
putting you on the spot there, but
no, it's okay. It's okay. It's good. It's good. I love it. So I know that this might seem like nonsense and like we're pulling stuff out of our butts. And I would have said the same thing a couple of months ago, but I would like you to consider what the things that you consider logical really are, and the things that make sense, going from like A to B to C, that sort of a thing, and like show me the results. Like like for instance, where does the visible actually come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it actually come from the invisible? And is nonsense actually logic of a higher order? Yeah. So just
I love that. What did you say? Is nonsense a logic of a higher order?
Yes. Is nonsense actually logic of a higher order?
Did you come up with that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is a really good that's just incredible. You can imagine like all sorts of people talking about that just one sentence on stage. Like that's amazing.
Yes.
We do a whole TEDx talk just on that. Incredible. So let's just talk about your experience with your eyes too. So when developing physical sight clairvoyance, and now it's amazing that pretty much every client that comes to me who wears glasses, when we dig into why their body chose to start wearing glasses, we actually uncovered suppressed memories from childhood, where they'd had terrifying spiritual experiences that they didn't understand. So physical sight clairvoyance, or some sort of trauma that they had that they didn't want to be witness to. And so their eyes, and that's what we found with you, just choose to not want to see anymore. And so through you coming to terms with that, and being aware of that, and then doing what you needed to do to develop your physical sight clairvoyance, you started to wear your glasses a lot less, and trusting your eyes a lot more. And you were noticing, you weren't seeing triples, quadruples, sextuples of things anymore.
I don't even know what you would call it in my case. I don't think there's like a number. I think it's just times whatever number, times 30, times 25. I don't think there's like a real word for it.
When you looked at the moon without your glasses, you would see like 16 moons or something.
Well, okay, so actually before that, I would see between like 25 and 30. It was after we uncovered like the suppressed memories around like what happened when I was around kindergarten, and how I was actually seeing like a ghostly figure of a girl like standing by the rose bushes of like my first grade class, and then also talking to adult about it, and them saying, oh, no one's there, and then like me just getting freaked out because I didn't know how to handle her. And then also seeing like in the classroom, also seeing like these like kind of like impish goblin like creatures just like hanging around and like running across the walls and like messing with the numbers on the wall and also the alphabet, which is very distracting and also kind of freaky because no one else was really seeing what I was seeing, and all the adults were like, oh, no, nothing's there, that sort of thing. Like after bringing that to the surface and coming to terms with that, and like dropping like all the trauma and all that around there, and like going back to the like past, like through like intention and through my third eye, or like through my mind's eye, which is like a portal in itself, and going to like change like my reactions to those things in the past. And that's when I noticed that my vision got a lot better. So instead of seeing between 25 and 30 moons in the sky, it's actually a little hard to count, because when I would start counting, it would actually all start moving. So I kind of like count from like the corners of, or from like the peripherals of my vision. But it actually went from that to between like 10 and 15, like on a good day.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, and you then started using your own channeled healing modalities and whatnot to help with that, and you found you would find that you would have at times like crystal clear vision for a couple of moments, and then it would go back to normal. So what's your experience with that and your take on that, and your journey of getting it to the point of just having 20/20 vision all the time?
Yes. So definitely I've also had flashes of clear vision. After releasing a lot of that, doing more belief work and a lot more inner work, I was able to, without my glasses, for the first time see like 100% clear vision, just looking down on the ground in like a really small part of my visual field. So, right near the center. And then I was just, appreciating it all, taking it all in. And then I would blink, and then it would go back to what it was before. But now, after working on myself more, continuing to, do the same healing that I would do in other people on myself, as well as more guidance that I'm always getting, then I've noticed that like the amount of like my experience of clear vision is actually a lot more frequent. So instead of just like, maybe that one time per day, it actually happens like multiple times a day, and it also lasts longer. So definitely still a journey, and I'm still working on it, but yeah, I'm like super excited for where this takes me. And I know I've seen it as a possibility, and my guides keep telling me it is a possibility. So I know it's pretty much right around the corner.
Yeah. Amazing. And obviously, it's crazy to think that if you can have clear vision for moments at a time, obviously you can have it all the time. Like what is causing those moments of absolute clear vision without any need for glasses, absolute 20/20 crystal clear vision? How how is that possible that you can have a medical issue, right, but then have crystal clear moments of pure vision through your physical eyes, right? Like that's pretty amazing. Obviously, it's there for you, right? And it's a process that is happening, and it's a process that's available to you, right? And it's like a moment of pure clarity, right, where you're unhindered by any sort of post-traumatic stress or, you know, repressed trauma or anything like that, or belief systems that aren't supportive. You've got like a clear slate for a moment, right? And then something pops back in and then it's back to normal. You know, it's like, isn't that amazing that our reality really is experienced through everything that's inside our own head? Like,
yeah,
100%. And we're experiencing that tangibly with physical sight.
Yes. Yeah. So I can actually, like, for people that want us, that would say like, oh, you know, show me the physical results. Well, that in itself is like a physical result for me, and enough for me to continue, like, you know, really embracing all of these gifts and opening up myself and surrendering even more to this entire thing.
Yeah. And that's a big thing for many people. Many skeptics are always wanting proof and hard evidence. And it's like, you actually can't have really hard evidence or solid proof for anything. Like, most of your beliefs that you're running on, that skeptic, are unfounded beliefs that you don't have any evidence for, but you've just taken them on as truth and believed them regardless. And we choose to believe our truth as, you know, our realities as our truth, and therefore we all live in our own individual reality. So, you know, I've had people say to me and to some of my clients as well that, you know, you need to be hospitalized. Like, you're having delusions of grandeur and psychosis and schizophrenia, and just because my reality is more expanded than them, you know, I'm experiencing more than the one millionth of reality that humans actually experience. I want to experience more of that. And I'm at peace with that. And I know that if I see something that somebody else can't see, that doesn't mean I'm crazy, right? I really feel the fine line is when people's crown chakra is fully open and they're fully open to all these abilities, and they don't know how to handle it, or they don't have the resources to handle it, or the know how to handle it, that then they can succumb to mental illness in a sense. But when we're doing it in a controlled, grounded environment with science proven tools to do it, that it's much safer and much we have much more trust and faith in ourselves and our ability, as well as our guides and our higher selves, to only unlock to us what we're ready for. And I really feel like that's why you've developed so quickly, is because you were like, just give me more, give me more, give me more. I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Yes.
And whatever was coming up, you were just like, let's get rid of it. Like, let's smash it. Let's transform it.
Yeah.
Let's move on into bigger and better things. And I really feel like that drive and passion you have is what keeps you moving at such a high momentum forward.
Yes, for sure. And like, another thing that, like, ever since I've started opening up into this space is just like another passion of mine that also drives me to continue doing this at the rate that I'm doing it and opening myself up to it, is that I really want to see a world where people remember how magical they truly are, not just like airy fairy fluffy like white clouds and unicorns, but really like how magical they are, and also in a tangible way as well. And then when more people wake up to that and it starts spreading around, then we'll just live in like a super magical world where people are open to these things, and these things are normal rather than like rare and on like the fringes of society sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's what I love about building this army of intergalactic missionaries, because we're here to remind humanity of its natural state. We're not living in our natural state. We're living so far from it. And that's why so many people are living every day completely sad and despair. Mm-hmm. And when we remember that everyone is psychic and everybody has amazing abilities and everyone's super connected to the universe, and everyone can accomplish whatever they want to, none of this stuff that you're experiencing is off limits for anyone. Like, everyone can do this, right? Everyone can do this. They just have to have the will and the drive, and the ambition and the curiosity for it, right? And how through doing this development, this seemingly intangible development for yourself, how has that changed your quality of life?
Oh yeah, it's totally changed everything. I mean, like, just knowing and like being able to like, well, yeah, being able to like zoom out more easily and see the bigger picture of things and not get so caught up in stuff that a lot of people get caught up on, such as like, yeah, like just like, oh, you know, just there's just this one life, YOLO, that sort of thing. Gotta like enjoy it to the maximum. You have to do this because or else you're a failure, that sort of thing. Like just being able to, yeah, like zoom out and also be supported in like so many different ways. And yeah, just realize that I'm never alone because all my spirit guides and spiritual entourage are there to help me with what I'm meant to do here in this world and in this life. And I can also like pull on like other lifetimes and like so many other things that I'm not even aware of right now. It's just, yeah, so magical and yeah, like it's so fun at the same time.
And I want to touch on mental health because, like I just said, a lot of people can take this as ill mental health, having these spiritual experiences. So how has this process of developing psychically improved your mental health?
Yes, it's actually helped me like drop a lot of like the anxieties and stuff that like most people have, like, yeah, in relation to like, oh, I have to do this, I only have one life, that sort of a thing. Like all of those like shattering all those paradigms and like dropping all of those belief systems that are just accumulated over time from society is, yeah, really helpful and freeing and allows me to live an expanded, more fulfilling version of myself that I never thought was possible.
Yeah. And it's all about conjuring this energy of, I just want to see how far I can take it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just keep doing this and have fun and just keep expanding beyond our limitations and, you know, develop to the point where we can literally like go off planet in our physical bodies, you know, by clicking our fingers and teleporting. Like, let's do that. Let's get to that point. There's quantum mechanics proves that there's no actual reason why we can't do that. It's really just our own mind limitations, right? And so that's what I love about sciences coming out, the new quantum mechanics and neuroscience and all of that, because it's really proving to us that we truly are limitless, even on a biological level. And our brains are our portals and our gateways. And so when we're developing our neurology, like we've been doing, you know, psychically wiring our brains, that we begin to experience that limitless in physical form, and things, we shape shift easier, even physically, and mentally and emotionally, and therefore we can attract what we want into our lives so much easier through that perception change and that identity change consistently, just consistently being open to seeing how far you can take it and being excited and curious about that and propelled towards that. And that's what creates natural momentum towards continuous quantum leaps.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So what do you see for how far, like what are your big aspirations? Let's just put it out there now for how far you want to take your psychic development in this lifetime, for what you can currently comprehend.
Okay, so for what I can currently comprehend, I want to be able to like materialize anything that I want, just like on the spot, whether it be like a cupcake because I'm hungry and I want a cupcake, or just like some new technology that's also what I've been shown that may be a little bit challenging to make with the current ways that we physically make things. And so like being able to do that on demand whenever I wish, like as often as I wish, is definitely something that I would love to do. And I've definitely seen it as a possibility, so I know it's a possibility. What else? I would love to shapeshift, not just have and have like physical experiences where I'm a dog running around and, you know, flying around the sky and that sort of a thing. Ooh, yeah, I would definitely love to be able to teleport, not just off planet, but also not just off planet and various places in the world, but also to inner Earth and like go exploring there as well. Yeah, and have like powerful clairvoyant experiences where I'm literally like seeing myself choose the timeline that I'm on.
Yeah, like those memes, those memes where they have like people seeing all the maths and like working out all the maths around their head.
Yes,
And
yes.
algorithms and stuff. It's like that, but you're seeing like the different mathematics of the different timelines and can go, like scrolling through Netflix, you're like, that one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then living that, like living that and having that solid evidence and that solid tangible experience thereafter. And that's what you've really been developing a lot of confidence and trust and faith in your next level, is having that power to choose timelines and then actually physically experiencing that. And so that's a big thing that many people are working on, because that's really amazing, that you don't have to be a victim to whatever happens next, that you can literally decide with every single fiber in your being as to what's happening next. And it's really only the doubt and disbelief in the universe supporting you and disbelief in your guides and disbelief in you getting what you want, and things like that trip up that experience and meddle with the frequencies and meddle with the timelines and keep you in a belief system where you don't believe that you can create your reality how you really wish it. And so it's really flipping that on its head and going, you know what, let's just try it. Let's just fully 100% believe in this future and live it and work it and make it happen and experience it and do that time and time and time again. So that's really where you're at the moment. And I'm also there. And many people that are in my sphere are really hardly working on that this year. And having that, I guess, bringing even more tangibility into this psychic work for each ability, like really tangibly using clairvoyance to pick those timelines and meet our soulmate clients, from that timeline, and then begin to experience that person in our physical reality. Like all these sorts of amazing things are happening. Like even just in the past week, a whole bunch of amazing opportunities have opened up for me. And I literally just put it out there that I wanted to get, this work that I'm doing out there on a massive global scale. And now, it was just a passing thought and a desire, and all this stuff has eventuated from that in literally like a week, like multiple different opportunities, like, filming a documentary and developed a new business relationship and stepping into doing this in corporate environments. And it's just like, a year ago, I couldn't even fathom this as my reality. And now I'm here fathoming my next reality in a sense. And that's the same for you. And that's so exciting, being in that creator space.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So is there anything you want to sign off with? Any message that you have for anybody who's watching this and looking up to you and wanting to sort of start this process for themselves and release, they're feeling a lot of fear or blocks come up listening to you. What's your advice for them?
Yes. So I would say like something that you can do really quickly, like on the spot, whenever like those things just like come up. Because like sometimes like when there's like a bunch of stuff going on in our mind, it's a little hard to handle. And sometimes like we can also like feel it in our body and it like feels like super tense and we're not really sure what to do. One thing that I love to do is it's like super quick, easy, simple. I don't even have to like think about anything. It's just like kind of like what you shared with me, Ari, just going into this position that synchronizes both of the hemispheres. So just like crossing your hands over each other and just holding them like that, as well as crossing the ankles. And then what I've added on top of that now as well is just like imagine like just like this nice, clean, universal energy, like birds chirping, like that kind of vibe, just like enter your system. And like I've noticed that, my body like like just like there's tingling sensations in my body and it just drops out of my system like that. So that's something super easy you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just activating both brain hemispheres to work in harmony and communicate. And that's really how we get blocks, is our brain hemispheres aren't communicating with each other. And so therefore the electrical current of that block, of that thought, of that belief system is remaining trapped. It's really that simple. And that's what I love, bringing neuroscience and quantum mechanics into this, because it gives it such a deeper foundational tangibility that you can literally like biohack your biology to up-level your psychic abilities and your manifestation abilities and the way that you live your life on a daily basis. It's just like, like
exactly,
absolutely mind expanding, bridging the gap by using every single aspect, our spirit, our emotional body, our mental body, our physical body, and doing the work on all of those levels in harmony together. And that's where magic unfolds really, really, really quickly.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome. So I am going to drop the link for Jess's new group. She's just started a new Facebook group. So I'm going to drop the link for that. Obviously, it's free. Go in there, immerse yourself in her genius network, get to know people, get to know her. And yeah, if that's calling you to step into her sphere a little bit more, then that option is there. So I'll drop the link in the comments, as well as in the description in the podcast. And yeah, go and make magic. So
yeah,
thanks so much for coming today, Jess, and openly and vulnerably sharing your story to an audience, of strangers. It's a big thing to do, especially talking about taboo, crazy topics like aliens and all that sort of stuff. So I really commend you for sharing your story and opening people's perceptions as to what's possible for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like definitely my pleasure. I mean, I would have loved to see someone talk about this and just talk about all the crazy things like it was normal, all in a row. That would have been like smashing a lot of my blocks. But yeah, so I'm like super happy to give back, and it like was super fulfilling. And I just love it because I know that people are meant to hear this and it will do a lot of good in the world. So thanks for inviting me, Ari.
Yeah, for the higher good of humanity. Thank you all for coming and watching or listening. And we look forward to getting to know you more in our spheres. So much love and magic.
Bye.
Bye.